I will discuss relevant issues affecting animals and pet owners today, how to avoid common problems, and how to extend the quality of life for your cherished companions. As a community advocate, I will also discuss important social issues that affect our city. I plan to showcase organizations and heroes who are doing amazing things to help others. Remember to tune in every Tuesday morning at 10, starting soon.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
KXVS LP Stockton.
This is KXVS, the voice of Stockton, and this is the Tom Patti Reality Show with your host, Tom Patti.
Is this a trial run or are we actually on? We're on? Wait, right now? Hey, Governor, thanks, man. I know we're on. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate having Governor Don back in the studio. This is 92.1 KXVS. This is the Tom Patti Reality Show where we discuss everything political, local, current, and real. So I have in the studio, of course, we're going to get to it in a short while. Discuss in depth all of the many things that they're doing throughout the community. And I also have my trusty sidekick, Ted Lair. So Ted, welcome. Good to see you. You're looking sharp, young man.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. And as long as you're going to be around, I have to look my absolute best. You raise everybody's.
I'm not sure about that, but glad you're here, buddy. So what's new?
Wow, it's been 9 days since we were last in the studio together, and what a 9 days it has been. Now, when you ran for county supervisor, when you kicked off your campaign back in 2014, that seems like a generation ago.
True.
One of the agenda items, one of your platform items that you ran on was opposition to the Governor Brown's proposed twin tunnel scheme that would send our water here in the northern Central Valley to Southern California, to agencies served by the Metropolitan Water District, which is a consortium of multiple water agencies and districts in Southern California.
Yeah, that is just a flat-out disaster, the twin tunnels. And I think everybody here locally is pretty informed to know what a one-sided and how detrimentally damaging that's going to be for our water resources and our own water security. And it's funny, there was a Beverly Hills, somebody who was on Met Water Board, Beverly Hills councilman who said, he goes, well, farming's looks like it's a failing enterprise as it is, so we need to get that water down to Southern California for our water security. And I just, where do they think food comes from? Are we supposed to, if you want, energy independence, you want water security, shouldn't you also have food security? Groceries are not grown in grocery stores. I don't know. I do not understand the mentality. We have the single most bountiful land in the entire world, right here in San Joaquin County and San Joaquin Valley, and it's being relegated to insignificance while a desert region goes for a water grab. So it's really pathetic because they've done nothing. And Ted, you and I went down and talked to the Board of Supervisors and really extolled them, the virtues of having a multi-pronged approach, because they've done nothing. This twin tunnel project will not increase water supply in the state of California by 1 ounce. What it is it's a grab for water, taking it from a region and sacrificing this region to the benefit of that region. And it's being sold for under multiple false premises. But what California does need, and one thing I did get involved when I got elected, is that's okay. I understand that we're against, and it's really funny because our own water districts will fight amongst ourselves for water. Of course, they're battling over water rights and usage and such, and there's even ongoing issues with groundwater, and all of these things can be settled and internally or with external influence, and that's fine. But what you've got going on now is this grab for what's in Southern California, and it's so singularly focused on their benefit to the sacrifice of Northern California. And what you're looking at really is we're opposed to the tunnel project, yes, But when I talked to county, our public works director, Chris Bellagio, I said, okay, I know what we're against. Are we promoting what we're in favor of? So the water boards got together. They talked. I'm not on the committees, but they all talked, and they came up with basically a blueprint of what we could use in the state of California. This population doubled since any new water projects have begun. and believe it, by the way, that is a design by the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club in the 70s said the way we're going to go about preventing population growth is by limiting new water supply. And that was that was a meeting that John Couts, one of our local wineries and owns Murphy's and all of the Couts farms, he said he had a meeting with the Sierra Club, and he named the gal and he named the date and the year. He knew exactly who it was, and she told him that the Sierra Club's plan is to stop and prevent any new water projects for water storage, increasing the supply, and that way they're going to retard the growth in the population of the state of California. So he laughed at the time. He said, well, good luck with that. And sure enough, that they've held true. It's exactly what they've been able to do. However, they failed in, of course, stopping the population growth. We've doubled. So that whole model of retarding the growth of our population by limiting water supply is failing miserably. What we do need to do is capture our water resources. Right now, Los Angeles recycles 3% of the water. San Diego recycles 30% of their water. Israel recycles 80% of their water, and they get 55% of it from the ocean. So we need to be recycling water. We need to be capturing stormwater, which is all in motion, by the way, in many, many areas, and it's definitely a hot plate issue for people to be addressing in the public works departments and self-sufficiency and regional stability more than importing water from an outside region. So Metropolitan Water's on board. Wetlands decided no. They didn't want to get on board, but Metropolitan Water could fund the entire project by themselves. So we are not out of the woods yet. We have many active groups opposing it, from Restore the Delta. We've got the boards of supervisors. We have counties that are aligned against it. So we are just beginning the fight in reality. And the good news is, the really good news is, some of the successors that are running for governor are not in favor of the tunnel project. They have told me personally that they're not in favor of the tunnel project. So this project will have so many legal challenges, and it will not cross the finish line, of course, while Governor Brown is the governor. So there's a very good chance that this foolhardy idea, this absolutely reckless endeavor, will never come to fruition, because the next governor will not be in favor of it either.
And the next governor takes office in just 15 months. Now, that may sound like a bit of a ways away, and in some regards it is, but in politics that's not a very long time. The primary to replace Governor Brown, because Governor Brown is termed out, that takes place in June. That's in 7 months, just under 7 months.
Yeah.
We are getting to down to the wire here, and the general election to replace Governor Brown is just a little over a year away. So you are absolutely correct that
we can stop this sooner than the years and years of lawsuits that it will take before it goes anywhere. So it's unfortunate, and it's a difficult task, but many people are uniting and going to fight against it.
Well, I'm glad that you made that one of your key planks in your campaign.
Yeah, and we have to. And I appreciate all of the agencies and public works and multiple private and public entities coming together and putting together a blueprint of what we are in favor of, and that's that way we can champion. I know we know what we're against, but we also need to be promoting what we're in favor of, what's respectful, what's reasonable, and what we need to be doing for water stability.
A solid alternative for water stability, water safety for our region, and also the state as well, because we are not anti-Los Angeles.
No, it's the entire state.
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
entire state, but regional stability more than depending on importing of water.
Outstanding. Now, on the Board of Supervisors this week, I understand that you took a leadership role in an issue that has been plaguing customers of certain supermarkets or mini markets here in San Joaquin County.
I couldn't believe this when this came up this last week, and we had public health, our public health department come up, and they were looking for a bond that we approved to message the dangers of lead-laced foods, candies and such, throughout the community. And so I kind of probed this. I pulled it as an agenda item to talk how they're going to do the messaging. It was all very good and a very cohesive plan. So we end up, of course, we're going to approve it for public health's sake, and to say the very least. But I kind of prodded further and said, well, where are they getting this food? and how is it that it's so accessible? And it says local markets. Now get this, local markets who have been warned that the products they're selling are laced with lead. They take it off the shelf, and within a week or two, it's back on the shelf for sale. So a typical example is there's a piñata store. I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but there's a piñata store, sells piñatas. Okay, great. You go there, you buy a piñata. Well, you buy the $5 or $10 or $15 bag of candy to go inside the piñata. Well, that candy is laced with lead. They've been told it's laced with lead. They don't sell it. A week later, they're selling it again. So I find that appalling. And even more upsetting is that there isn't a mechanism of penalty to prohibit and really incentivize somebody that not to do it again. So during midstream through the meeting, I just turned to county council and I said, would you please come back to this board for our consideration, some very stiff penalties that we can enact. And I'm thinking $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 fines for anybody selling this lead-laced food when they know that it's lead-laced. I mean, I cannot believe people are doing that.
So this would hurt our this lead.
This is hurting our children. This is hurting our
especially.
children. This is a lifelong damage to our children, and they're doing it just in the name of profit. For what are they saving? A couple dollars instead of buying decent candies to sell? What are you going to make it? You're going to make an extra $3 and save a few dollars. I mean,
and then the hide and seek that they're playing with inspectors. That's also stunning, and I'm sure the community
that's going to come to a crashing halt quickly.
Good.
So I was that's one of those little proud moments that people say, do you like your job? I say, here's an opportunity where I can actually say that I've accomplished something and made a difference. So speaking of making a difference, I'm going to use that as a phenomenal segue. We have in our studio, I'm really honored to have, we got 4 members from Fathers and Family, and we've got a whole host of things to talk about with them. So I know you've got a little bit of some ideas we want to touch on, Ted. So why don't you do some introductions and lead where we're going?
Oh, thank you, Supervisor. First, let me introduce from Fathers and Families of San Joaquin County, Andrew Lucero we have in our studio as well, but the person I would like to turn the mic over to shortly, actually right now, is Juan Schwanker.
Schwanker, yes.
Schwanker, okay.
Hi,
I want to make sure I pronounced your name correctly.
Ted?
How are you doing today?
Good,
well,
good,
thank
good.
you. Now, I understand tomorrow Fathers and Families of San Joaquin, they're hosting an event. I was wondering if you could tell us and the listeners exactly what that event is and what your role is in it.
We'll be hosting a reading lit book fair tomorrow from 11 to 2 at 338 East Market Street, Stockton, California, at Fathers and Families of San Joaquin. It's a literacy fair where we are encouraging all readers from all ages, children, families to come. We're going to be having arts and crafts. We're going to be building some literacy books. We got some folks coming from Delta College, professors. We'll be having food, youth panel. We'll be having my friend here, Patti, doing a little reading here for us too, and some poetry. We're going to be having a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. The bottom line is encouraging folks to come and read and share that quality time with your kids, because we know that in order to get into higher education, we know that reading is the key to success. We have a very low literacy rate here in Stockton, California. Actually, we're 3rd lowest in illiteracy in the nation, and it's something that is at the core of our values as far as our agency. So we do a lot of the promotion with youth literacy. We know that it's very important, and it's something that's close to my heart. I have children, and I feel that it's very important that we share that with the whole community.
So would you say it's a book fair and literacy fair? Books will be available for families to take home?
Absolutely. We're going to be donating books.
And English and Spanish?
Yes, we have bilingual
services.
We have
That's
bilingual books, and we'll be giving away books.
So for a moment of clarity, you mentioned my name, and then you said reading and poetry. So there is nothing poetic coming from Patti tomorrow.
I hear that you're a little Shakespearean, so I'm not sure.
I've done Shakespeare, I've done Macbeth, and I've done a couple of Shakespeare's, Midsummer Night's Dream, but I will not be poetic, I can assure you.
He will be reading The Prince. No, I will be reading The Prince by Machiavelli.
Right. So,
Okay,
but I do also want to just come to my mind that you guys may want to get. I may connect you with our Rotarian representative that does the read to me. Not read to me. I'm sorry. We have a book program. I forgot the exact name of it, where we mail a book a month from 0 to 5 years old. We mail a book a month to any child in need throughout the community, and we mail out thousands of books. I think it's like almost 20,000 books a year.
Wow.
So, and to date, we've done a couple 100,000 books that have gone out. So I want to definitely connect you to, so we can add to the mailing list of anybody that would be fit the profile of getting a book a month. And that's just, it's a book a month club. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, that's great.
So I
That's
appreciate
great
it. It's
news.
one of those
Thank
things I
you. We
appreciate.
appreciate that too.
Yeah, I appreciate Rotarians, how they step up, like all service industries I've talked about, Lions, Kiwanis, Rotarians, Masons, for that matter. So many people do much in the community, and this is one of those little projects that Rotarians have taken on, and very proud to be part of that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I
Looking
want to
forward
plug
to
in for that for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Tom.
reading books for pleasure is absolutely essential for success later in life,
Right,
especially.
right.
Yeah. You learn so much from reading. It's great that you're doing this for families
Well,
and
thank you.
people.
Thank
So,
you. I appreciate that. It's going to be tomorrow
What-
from 11 to 2, again at 338 East Market Street, Stockton, California, at Fathers and Families of San Joaquin. We look forward to having everyone come to partake in our literacy fair, and hope to see everyone there.
Well, thank you. That's thank you for coming and sharing with us
Thank you.
what your event tomorrow is going to be about. It
Now,
sounds good.
give me a little history for a moment, because I know we're talking about a book fair, and we mentioned Fathers and Family. You guys are so involved in the community. Let's get boots on the ground. You guys are boots on the ground. Let's talk a little bit about Fathers and Family and all that you guys are doing. Andrew, is that something you want to address? Because I appreciate it. I want to tout what you guys are doing, your influence and your involvement.
So Fathers and Families started out about 15 years ago, and we started doing youth workshops. We noticed there was an absence of dads. A lot of our men were incarcerated. A lot of our men were battling drug addictions. They just weren't there. So we stepped up and we started running these youth workshops in CYA, in juvenile hall, in the communities. Started out by selling T-shirts, out of the back of our car just to get gas money to go to these places. Since we've grown, we've become one of the most diverse agencies there is. We keep a challenge comes up, and we face it. We started doing reentry work, youth work, elders program, because our elders needed somewhere to go. Working with our site as a CPS visitation site, because some of our folks didn't have a warm place in the winter to visit their kids. A lot of the places are filling up. Trauma recovery, which I'll let Missy speak on that in a moment. But we just pivot because as our agency grows, our population grows too. We have to make changes to make sure we're addressing every need. One of them, of course, is reading, job training, job placement. We do a lot of holistic approaches, healing, main thing. A lot of our men went through so much trauma growing up. We have to, men and women, we have to heal first. Heal, deal, then we can be real with ourselves. I'll let Missy talk a little bit about the trauma recovery, because she knows the whole get down on that.
Excellent. And so we've got Missy
Magdalera.
Magdalera, yes.
Magdalera, yes. Thank you, Missy. Glad you're here. How many people are in the agency right now at Fathers and Families? Again, you guys are very diverse and involved in a multifaceted level of impact and involvement and influence throughout the community. How many people are you guys employing now?
Right now, I believe we're at around 22, somewhere around there. We started out with 0 employees. We did everything, just out of the straight love for our community. Now we're able to employ around 22 workers. I think we have about 5 licensed clinicians, reentry caseworkers, case managers.
And Sammy was your first. Sammy Nunez is the first person to start this with organically in the community. He's like, we got to make a difference here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then you joined him.
Yeah, I joined him around 8 to 9 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes,
So when you were about 12 or 13.
Yeah, my mom always pushed me to go. She's like, man, you got to go with Sammy. You got to go with Sammy. You
Really?
got to go over here. And I had a thick head, like, man, I'm not going over there yet. And on my return from, before I went to prison, I stopped by to help them move. We were going to be partnered at the Mexican Heritage Center, and we tore this whole place out, got it redone, and then I stopped checking in, and I ended up getting incarcerated. And then when I got out, I needed somewhere to go. I was lost. I was at probation, checking in every single day, and I just walked in, and he said, gave him a hug. He said, "Get to work. There's your desk right there." And ever since then, but my work wasn't. It was about healing. I started healing on myself, started sitting in circles, started working on my parenting skills, my character skills. I had a lot of flaws. I had a lot of values and morals that were warped, and I had to, straighten them out.
Which, as you learn and realize, everybody has flaws.
Yes.
Everybody has challenges. You can't be too hard on yourself, and you can't think less of yourself because you're challenged. You have to look at, okay, I'm the best person I could be today. I'm going to work to be better tomorrow. And you look at the constant challenge that we have as human beings to just improve, evolve, and become better and better.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I did have a lot of flaws that I was working on, but I found out a lot of them weren't my fault. They were what I was taught. They were what my father taught me. There was a lot of what the the homies on the street taught me. There was a lot of values that were given to me that were wrong, that I just ran with. I knew no better. If I did know no better, I would do better. But that's what I was
If
taught.
I could think of a greater message, I know you and I have talked about this, but if I could think of a greater message to give to young men and boys, is your priorities. What is it like to be a man? Is it not the car? It's not the clothes. It's not the flash. It's not how many kids you can have. It's are you accepting responsibility? Are you helping your community be better? Are you do you have strength in character and integrity with who you are, or are you just sliding by and trying to put up a front like you're somebody special? And when you really find that when you live a self-absorbed life, when you think it's all about you and you're narcissistic and your behavior is really damaging to your community and damaging to your family, then you're really not all that much of anything.
Yeah.
You really need to reprioritize and change the perspective of what success is considered. Because success is, as I said, it's not the sneakers you're wearing.
Yeah.
Success is not the kind of cars in your driveway. Success is not in any capacity cash you have in your pocket.
Yeah.
Success is, how are you impacting your community? How are you making this place better, making your family better, and accepting your responsibilities with honor. That you're going out, you're earning an honest day's wage, you're providing for your children, and you're delivering and not taking from others and from society. So I think that's these are priorities that need to be exalted and promoted throughout the communities, because that there's oftentimes a wrong message that you think you got street cred if you get a certain way you're dressed, and certain car or something, certain flash about your jewelry, and that's in the meantime, your kids are starving, and you're being abusive to members of your family, let alone a girl that's entrusted her future with you, and you're not accepting responsibilities. You're abusing other people's vulnerabilities.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful life advice, and I'm glad that you're sharing.
We need to promote that. These are messages we need to get out there.
Not just with our guests,
when you're doing life coaching, you need to get these messages out.
No, that's absolutely essential to have that kind of advice on such a broad scale. That's great.
And definitely great coming from, our board of supervisors. You're one of the most, you show up, we can never, you can never say Tom Patti doesn't show up for his community, because you're always out there. I've been here for years in Stockton, and I ain't never seen one of my board of supervisors show up, for us. So we appreciate that.
And our supervisors are busy in many fronts.
Yeah.
Believe me, there's the reason why you don't see us oftentimes, because we're out in many places. I was with Miguel Villapudua and the other day, and he was at visiting 3 of his different community centers in the same day. And so, but that is the whole key, is showing up. You may not have a lot to bring, and you just may be able to listen. You may be able to participate, just like showing up in life. Be present. Be present in your baby's life. Be present in your family's life. Be present when it's your mother's birthday, or when it's your child's birthday. Being present is the real key. Is just like you said, showing up.
Yep.
That's the first key to making a difference.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the events that I'm interested in is this Wednesday. You would like to share with us a little bit about what Fathers and Family of San Joaquin is hosting on, I believe that is the 15th? No, that's what's the date?
The 18th.
18th. What's going on? What you got?
So, Father Greg Boyle at a Homeboy Industries said it best: nothing stops a bullet like a job. There's over 40,000 barriers nationally that someone formerly incarcerated has obstacles.
How many barriers?
40,000.
Wow.
43% of those are unemployment. So 43% of these barriers are, not having jobs, not being able to find jobs. So what we're trying to do at this event is, we're not trying to make excuses. We're trying to get folks jobs, because I sit down with employers all the time. They're like, man, we need workers. I sit down with folks that are like, man, we need jobs. So we're bringing them to the place. We're going to have life coaches there. We're going to have record expungement. We're going to have tattoo removals. So we're going to start knocking these barriers out. So automatically we're going to knock off. I mean, it may only be 10 barriers we're removing, but we're going to remove a lot of them. So by on the spot hiring, on the spot interviewing, on the spot resume building, tattoo removal, record expungement, life coach, we got a career closet, we got barbers. So people are going to walk out transformed, because it's hard. I know as a father, when I was looking for a job and my daughter would tell me, Dad, how'd it go? Oh, I didn't get the job, or when I finally get the job, because sometimes they'd be like, I'd have to make ends meet, I'd have to not check the box, get hired on for 2 months, and then once they found out, you get let go. But just in order, I'd have to make ends meet to take care of my family, I had to do that. And it's hard for men and women coming home and having to tell their kids, I got laid off. Well, I didn't tell them about this, but I just, had to get this job to, provide for my family. So bringing all these resources to Stockton all in one place, in the heart of downtown Stockton, at the Civic Center. It's at 525 North Center Street. It's going to be going on from 10 to 2, and I don't believe anybody's ever showed up with this much support, love, and hope for the community, because we're coming through, with everything. They say nothing stops a bullet like a job, and that's what we believe. We want our folks to come home so tired they ain't got time to pull no triggers because they're too tired. You know what I mean? So
they're doing something productive. They don't
exactly.
Being productive is key. That's just you're doing an alternative source, an alternative.
They're making
outlet.
an honest living. They're doing the right thing by themselves for their family. Your story is quite common, I would assume, in Stockton. As you matured and got older, you got a job, you have a family, you have friends, good friends, and you don't want to go back into that lifestyle that led you to incarceration. It led you to a wrong path. You're on the right path now.
Exactly.
And you want to help other people get on that right path. And this, I don't want to call it a forum, because it's not a forum. It's an actual
it's a career,
it's a
career resources
fair.
and job opportunity. It clearly is. I've spoken with some employers that are showing up looking to hire, and they're planning on hiring that day. So fathers and family have brought together multiple components and a pathway to success for many people, and I really applaud and appreciate that. And I'm glad to be part of it, just helping out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes a difference. So we did skip over. We had Missy step up, and we wanted to talk with you. Talk to me about the recovery and some of the engagement levels that you have at Fathers and Family.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to thank Tom and Ted for having us on the show. It's really a blessing to be able to talk about some of our work, because a lot of it does happen behind the scenes. And to give a little bit of context about this resource fair, because it all came from a vision. Fathers and Families is actually one of 11 to operate a trauma recovery center in the state of California. So across the entire state, we're only one out of 11, which is actually pretty... It says a lot, considering that our people have a lot of exponential experience of being exposed to crime and violence in our region. We know, for example, that gun violence and shootings have been normalized in the San Joaquin Central Valley for generations, and that's been impacting folks who are vulnerable and who need resources. So in 2015, Fathers and Families applied to open a trauma recovery center program here, and we were successful in bringing one. And our main mission and goal is to provide services, particularly to victims of crime. Something that really inspired us putting on our Ending Gun Violence Summit next week was the work that we do with victims of crime. Particularly since we opened in 2015, our highest frequency of intakes have been for drive-by shootings, homicides, and domestic violence every single quarter. And when you see the kind of numbers that we see of folks, for example, families, parents, grandparents coming in mourning the loss of their child, it's difficult work. And we realize that crime survivors don't just need the services. Mental health treatment is amazing, and we do offer everything that we offer at the TRC is free. We have free individual therapy, group therapy, case management services, referrals to housing, educational opportunities, anything someone in crisis might need, we're there for you.
You said 5 therapists are on staff?
Yes, we do. So we have a licensed clinical social worker as well as a couple of mental health clinicians.
Are you one of the therapists?
I am not one of the therapists. I'm actually the program assistant for the program. But something that's unique about our particular trauma recovery center that makes us stand out, and I like to brag about this, but it's because we are also crime survivors ourselves. Everyone who works at the Stockton Trauma Recovery Center has been impacted by crime and violence in some capacity. For example, how I got connected with the TRC was because my mother was a victim of domestic violence, and it was only through accessing resources at Fathers and Families that she was actually able to get her life back on track. So I'm forever thankful to the agency for that, because that's what we do. We take folks with the story and who actually have experience with these issues, and we give them a platform to do powerful work with the community. So moving on to the event, this is part of the reason why we're putting on this 2-day summit. So like Andrew mentioned, next Wednesday we're going to have our Nothing Stops a Bullet Like a Job resource fair. The following day, that leads into our Ending Gun Violence Summit, and it would not be possible without all of our sponsors and partners from across the state. Thank you to Sierra Health Foundation, to folks like the City Office of Violence Prevention, the Hope and Heal Fund to stop gun violence of San Francisco. So it's a local effort, but it's also been influenced a lot by our local, by our statewide partners across the region, because it's such an important issue. So the Ending Gun Violence Summit is occurring on Thursday, October 19th from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have a plethora of speakers, including folks and community organizers here from Stockton who are actually doing advocacy work and organizing with our families to stop gun violence locally. So we encourage everyone to come out. The event is open and free. We're going to have some victim services folks out there too, tabling to offer some resources. Yeah, and it's all about healing. Honestly, it's a healing movement here in Stockton.
I have to applaud the ambition, because a lot of organizations talk and people say, "Hey, you know what we need to do," but you guys jump right in and pull in resources and pull together relationships and the community that wants to be part of the support and part of the solution. Because I firmly believe there are no problems. There's situations and there's solutions. Exactly. And there's always a pathway to success. I really firmly believe that. And you guys just jump right in and you take on the most ambitious of projects, and you guys keep growing and growing and having more and more influence, and that's and it's great to see. I really do appreciate the impact that you guys are having. You have one more member here, part of Fathers and Family.
Hannah Divino, you're up next.
Hannah Divino. Hannah, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Excellent. How long have you been with Fathers and Family?
I actually started off as an intern in a national program called Health Career Connection. So it allows recent grads, college students to be able to learn about public health. So more about like the social determinants of health, and that was how I started. And then recently this September, I was granted the opportunity and blessing to be a programs assistant with Fathers and Families.
Fantastic. And what's some of your challenges, or what do you see the rewards that you're hands-on being involved as you are?
I could say that being a part of Fathers and Families is like one of the most rewarding feelings ever. Although like the work that we're doing can be tough at times, we may deal with like barriers and deadlines like for grants. Sure. But at the end of the day, like the work that we're doing is so important, and it's so fulfilling.
You find and you're seeing results.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So much growth.
Yeah. No. How many people would you say you deal with on a daily, weekly basis that you're hands-on or coming through the doors that you're working with?
I don't even know the numbers. I'm not sure for the Trauma Recovery Center, but Missy could say more about like the number.
Well, I know there's different departments and divisions and multi layers of what you guys are doing, but it's more than dozens a day, and you've got I mean so many more. I would venture to say you're in the hundreds a week. So it's impressive all that you guys are doing, and I didn't mean to put you on the spot on that. It's just,
yeah, and I think it is really it's hard to keep track because there's so many people that are coming in and out, and at times that we don't expect. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's I mean, if every one person walks through the door, that person represents they have a whole story. there's a situation that's brought them there, and they're compelled to seek out help, which you have to really appreciate. And so many people oftentimes aren't even aware of some of the help that's available, and they're missing out on this opportunity. So you guys are there. It's an open door, and people walk in, and it's open engagement, and you've got a pathway to success. I really appreciate all that you guys are doing in that regard.
Now, Hannah, two quick, as do I appreciate it as well. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the health and justice?
Oh, okay. So the department that I used to work under is a health justice department. So I wanted to really talk about two things. One is the tree giveaway. So Stockton has one of the poorest air qualities, and San Joaquin County does. And so we are actually giving away free trees to the most vulnerable communities, which is in the zip codes 95202, 95205, and 95206. So if you live in that area, you can contact me, Hannah, and we could hook you up with a free tree. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that we're giving free baby boxes. So this was actually originated in Finland, and they had one of the highest infant mortality rates and highest SID rates. But then they started to integrate these baby boxes, which include a crib. It's really just a starter kit.
The box is a crib. I know all about this program. I brought it to public health and asked them, what would it take to do something. I had no idea you guys were doing that. I read a whole study about you get this box that it's a starter kit.
Yep.
And the box is the beginning stages of where the baby should start off to get past that stage where the infant deaths were occurring. So I had no idea you guys are doing that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, so we're like one of the few organizations in the Valley that actually provide this at absolutely no cost. So just going back to the history,
it's called Baby in a Box.
Baby boxes.
Baby boxes. Okay. It's kind of like a stork delivery. You get the baby in the box and it's all delivered. Yeah.
Yeah, so all you have to do is go on babyboxuniversity.com and watch like a 15-minute video. And then after that, you could go to our office, show us that you took the quiz, which is just like a quick 7-question quiz. And then we just hand it off to you.
Phenomenal. And would you guys, I'm going to circle back on what I said before on the books that Rotarians are giving out once a month. You keep data, maybe you already have that data of eligible families that we can immediately start mailing books to. So that would be one of those additional elements that we can give to enhance for sure. Yeah. So I know we're getting a little bit close on time. This has been a great show, and really appreciate the levels that you guys are involved in coming in to share. And there's so much going on. So the dates are October 18th for the job fair, October 19th for the ending violence, ending gun violence, and that day of seminars, and that's going to be an important day as well. We also have locally, Joaquin Lopez is doing his annual, and this is the 4th one. He's got 2 guest fighters in town. One of them is historically noted Ernie Shavers, who had over 75 professional fights as a heavyweight. And Muhammad Ali is quoted as saying that he hit me so hard that my kinfolk back in Africa were shooken. So Ernie Shavers, I spent some time with him yesterday. What a sweetheart! What a champion of a fella! Truly a gentleman. His lovely wife was in town with him, and they're here to support Joaquin Lopez. We also have champion, 3-time champion Israel Vasquez. So Israel has the distinction of being the only fighter in boxing history to be Fight of the Year 3 years in a row. Which is not easy. When you're Fight of the Year, it means that not only are you showing up bringing your best, but the person that you're fighting is elevated to bring the best out of you, and you're bringing the best out of each other, which means it's a tougher and oftentimes more brutal win to get past it. So so Vasquez was a great fighter, exciting, real crowd pleaser, my style of fighter. No dancing and running around and trying to be a pretty boy, but he was a real fighter, and I appreciate him and Ernie Shavers. So they're going to be tonight at the Stockton Fairgrounds. They have a boxing event there, and there's 13 amateur fights that are scheduled. So Joaquin Lopez will be there, one of our own local boxing legends, true boxing legend. And along with Joaquin Lopez will be Ernie Shavers and Israel Vasquez, and a whole crowd of people. Truly hundreds of people show up for the fights. Absolutely. So they're action-packed, they're amateurs. These amateur kids, now think about it, they're getting in there, fighting their hearts out for hopefully to win the trophy. So they're not doing it for money and, I got paid and make a little bit of money and lay down. These guys will fight their hearts out because they want to win that trophy. So you oftentimes in amateurs, you'll see that some of the more competitive and exciting fights, because these guys, again, are just fighting their hearts out like I once did, 30-something years ago, just for a little medallion or a little trophy. But you wanted that win. You want that win. And so we go out there to support those kids and the boxing programs that keep kids off the streets, develop character, and building blocks, some of those many building blocks that we need in life to steer the right course and to put that aggressive energy you might have, or the frustrations, and have a home, have an outlet, and learn discipline, and learn that it isn't violence that the answer is, but it's more through discipline, it's through hard work that's going to accomplish your goal. And I know a lot of fighters that come from very bad backgrounds, but they've completely and immediately reshaped their lives, used that discipline and that focus, and made very constructive, creative things happen. So we have to support those local programs for sure. Ted, anything else we need to cover?
Yes, tomorrow. I know you are busy with several events, but it is on your schedule, and I hope you can come by. A lot of community support for the Alzheimer's Walk at Weber Point tomorrow. It's the nationwide. The Walk to End Alzheimer's the Alzheimer's Association Foundation has the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and teams are formed. I'm a part of a team led by a council member here in Stockton, and we're trying to raise money for the Alzheimer's Association. The goal here in San Joaquin County is to raise $130,000. At last time I checked, they were just under $100,000. Julie Dameron Brown, Dr. Julie Dameron Brown, who hosts a radio show here on Tuesday morning.
The true Stocktonian of the year. I've nominated her. She is phenomenal. You guys know Dr. Julie Brown, but submit a recommendation for her to be Stocktonian of the year. She is phenomenal. I call her Wonder Woman. She does so much. Yes, and she had Mary Margaret and another representative from the local Alzheimer's Association, and that is something that is going on. A lot of people are going to be there. So if you can, it's 9 a.m. tomorrow at Weber Point here in downtown Stockton. I'd show up, but I might forget. So I've got that's a joke about his schedule. So no, it's a joke about Alzheimer's and being a boxer, and it was a joke about being a boxer. That's what it was. So yeah, I've got that. I'm going to read books. I have to be in Manteca, so I've got a multitude of things in the morning and throughout the day. But I'm planning on being at all of them and try to have as much involvement and participation and support as possible. So and then you guys have the book fair tomorrow that I will be at. And that starts at 11 a.m.? 11 a.m. 11 a.m. The address is 338 East Market Street. And Tom Patti will be a reader, but not reciting poetry, nor presenting any poetry, because I am not a poet. So listen, fathers and family, I want to thank everybody for being here. I've got Andrew, I've got Missy, I've got Juan, and I've got Hannah. You guys are all stars, and you guys make a big difference every day. I really respect and appreciate you guys, so thank you. And Ted, keep doing what you're doing, young man. I appreciate you trimming down, looking good. You got girls chasing after you. I see your phone's ringing. You got a lot of messages from girls all over the county. You're doing good. They're all saying, leave me alone. Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening. This is the Tom Patti Show at 92.1 KXVS, the voice of Stockton.